Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mary Jane and I do a lot of things, but right now I'm primarily a fine dining server. So basically what I do in this space is to create content and tools for budgeters and cash stuffers to help them reach their money goals. So we have now reached the end of the school year, and that means that I have actually lost half of my income. I was working as a contractor, and so I was paid per day, not like working for the school district where my contract would be over, but I would continue to receive a paycheck. So I need to be very intentional about budgeting at the moment. I knew it was coming and I was looking forward to getting my time back. So there are pros and cons, right? I did get some time back, but I have lost a lot of income. And I was thinking about it. I was working, it was a really hard turnaround because I would work all night at the restaurant and maybe get home at like 12, 11:30, 12, 12:31, just depending. And then I would have to be at school at 7:45. So I wasn't leaving my house at 7:45. I was leaving my house at, 6:45, 6:55 to make it to school at 7:45. And then I would get off at 2:45 and have to be at the restaurant at 4. So I was working insane marathon days, and I did that 4 days a week. So some days I would get off at 2:45 and have the rest of the day. And then some days, I would do that long double, and then I would work all weekend. So I never had a day off. I was working 7 days a week and doing these marathons. So I've thought about it a lot, and it took a very big toll on me, but it actually enabled me to snowball into reaching a lot of my goals that I was aiming for with that job. So I think with the summer, it is so hot. We're in a heat dome, as they say. I really hate being at home in the evening. It's just too hot. Even with the AC, I have like a window unit situation. Because up here in Detroit, most people we don't have AC. Like, that's just not something you have in your house. And I come from Dallas, so that's very different for me. And the heat is different because, it's just not made for it up here. And I'm away from it. I'm not acclimated to it anymore. It's very unbearable. So I think I'd rather be at work. I'd rather be somewhere that has air conditioning. So I did find a server position that's hiring for part-time. So I'm going to see if they'll hire me on my 2 evenings off so I can go and make money and throw towards meeting some of these goals, and then have my mornings free. So instead of doing these long marathon days, having my all morning free and only work at night, and like, especially through the summer, try to escape the heat that way in a productive way. Because I really, honestly, yesterday I was like, maybe I should just go to the movies so I can be in the air conditioning. But, sure, that sounds like fun. And I actually ended up not doing it because I'm like, I don't want to spend the money. But it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, you can go to the mall. You can do these things to escape the heat, but it also encourages you. It sort of lends itself to spending money. And trying to counteract that. I'm trying to make money and pay these things off. And I just really, it makes me nervous to have lowered like the amount that I'm bringing in. So I'm just like, yeah, okay, I'm going to look for that. A part-time position that's dependable every week. And we'll see if they go for it. It's a company that I worked for, and I had to think back. It's been 20 years since I worked with this company. So, and I left on good terms. There was nothing, negative about it. When I left, I was living in Beverly Hills. So it's a different state, different whatever. I'll still be like, did you work for us? Like, yeah, 20 years ago. We'll see what they say. All right. So today, with the little cash that I have, I'm expecting coming in, I'm going to do some cash planning because I really do need to budget every dollar. I always budget every dollar, but it's even more important now. So let me pull out what I've got started. So based on when things are due, I sort of like map out what I want to pay when. I try to pay things at least a week in advance. So I really don't wait until The due date, I want to pay at least a week in advance. Sometimes it may just be a couple of days. It just kind of depends on where I'm at. But these are the things that are very, very important that are coming due. With the exception of gas, because every week you gotta put gas in the car, and every week I gotta put my tip out. Tip out's always so laissez-faire. Who knows how much I need to put in there. I'm basically putting in what's left. So let's get started. And yes, my snake. Let's get started on what I'm gonna do this week. Okay, so for the mortgage, normally I try to take care of this at the beginning of the month. But I had other things going on. You know, my dog was nearing the end of his life. I knew that I was going to have to put him down. So I put that money towards that. And I was like, I'll take care of the mortgage later on in the month. So that's why I'm doing this now. I'm on track to have it taken care of before it's due. I do have a couple of months put aside, but I try very, very hard not to touch that savings. That it really is just absolute emergencies. And this is not an emergency, but it is going to take a big chunk. So I'm going to do $400 towards the mortgage in this week. And so I'm going to do 4 100s. This is for the teller, so I can tell them how much cash to give me. All right, the storage. My storage bill is $184. So part of my priority to get the moving van is to eliminate the storage bill. The sooner I can get the the sooner I can get the moving van, the sooner I can eliminate this, and I can use that $184 towards other things. Primarily, I'd like to use it towards Turo, because I realize that cars are a depreciating asset, but in that particular instance, I would like to buy cash cars at the bottom of their depreciation, so they really don't have more to lose, and then rent them out on Turo. So that is what I'm looking to get into, as sort of like the redheaded stepchild to real estate. So ultimately, I want to make money on Turo, reinvest into Turo, build up my Turo fleet to where I'm replacing that second job. So my second job literally is me taking care of my cars, and that the profits from that, I want to put half towards paying my mortgage, because my goal really is to get my mortgage paid off within the next 5 to 6 years. And save all that interest and just be done with it and not have a mortgage at all. Just pay the taxes and utilities. And then the other half would be to invest in real estate here in Detroit. There's a couple of things. I would like to invest in affordable housing for people that need it. And I also live very close to a hospital, so I'm interested in doing midterm rentals for nurses and doctors that do travel here. So I want to do a mixture of both, where it's like I'm helping the people that live here, helping the people that come here to help us, and then helping in my immediate neighborhood with some of the blight and the abandonment to help turn that around. So these are things that are important to me that I'm trying to work towards. And yeah, so that's where I'm at with that. Long story short, of like, I owe that $184, but I really want to get rid of it as soon as possible. Plus, I would love to be reunited with my things. I moved here in a car. I moved here in a car with 2 cats and a ginormous satellite, the SpaceX satellite thing that I had for my RV, because in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can totally use that outside at my house, because I own that asset. And that was a good thought in theory, but it really only works for sort of RV life, because I didn't have any access to electricity outside. So there was no way that I could find a way to get those giant cords, like I guess through a window. I don't know. It didn't work out. So it took up a lot of space in my move that I ended up like, it's just sitting in the garage, and which is fine, because it would just be sitting in Myrtle waiting for me to move the trailer. But that's very valuable space in my vehicle moving. I think it was 1,300 miles, where I could have used that space with other things. I also didn't know what I was moving into, because I, bought this place sight unseen, and I just had a handful of pictures. I really had no way of knowing what I was going into. So I was very particular about what I brought. It had to be things that I was totally okay with losing or having someone steal from me, because I didn't know if there were windows on the house. There were pictures where they just had things boarded up, and I didn't know if it was boarded up because they were trying to keep people out, or if it was boarded up because there was no window. So yeah, I miss some things I'd very much like to be reunited with. So that's another reason why I'm interested in having those 2 nights a week that I'm home, just, you know, just work and get those things knocked out. Get Myrtle here, get my moving van so that I can move forward. These are things that I'm trying to bring up from my past so that I can move forward. And moving forward for me is investing in Turo. Okay, so mailbox, $35. So why do I do a mailbox when I have a home? I actually have 2 mailboxes. I have a mailbox in Dallas and I have a mailbox in Detroit. And the reason is theft, honestly. Everything that I get that has my social security number, that has to do with a bank statement, that's coming to me in the form of payment, like a residual payment from working in film and television, my, you know, address that's listed on government property things, all that stuff goes to my mailbox. Those are my legal addresses. And I pay that for anonymity, for safety reasons. And I just, it's where I'm at. It's something that I've done for a very long time. It's always worked for me. And the only thing that I have that literally comes to this house is like the electric bill, the water bill, and Amazon packages. And if it's an expensive Amazon package, it's gonna go to the mailbox. The one that I use here in Detroit is downtown. They're open Monday through Friday. I can only pick up my mail between 11 and 4, and I get charged $1 for everything I pick up. So if I'm picking up 3, you know, letters, that's $3. Plus I have to pay to park. I mean, it's a giant pain in the ass, right? So it's not like I'm sending stuff there all the time, but it is there for me when I need it. In Dallas, what I do is I have actually paid 6 months in advance, so I'm not having to put towards it. But I do have an envelope that I stuff so that when that 6 months comes, I can go ahead and pay that. I will get that up to it as well, but I recently just got caught up with my SAG dues because I had been behind. So, yeah, and that's what I was doing with my last paychecks from my contractor job, was trying to get caught up with those things. Because like I said, I'm trying very hard to move forward, not be held back by my past. So, for gas, it's pretty random. It's going to be $91. Oh, let me do my bills. So for storage, I'm going to do 100. I'm going to do 420s. And I'm going to do 4 singles. For 91, I'm going to do 1 single. I'm going to do 420s. And what is that, 110? My mailbox is 120, 110, 15. Okay. For my tip out is really what I have left. So I add everything up, minus it, and that's $65. Probably gonna have to borrow from my savings for that. Hopefully I make some in cash so that I can borrow from the cash that I make, but you just don't know. That's another reason why I'm interested in having a second job, because keeping myself from having to dip into my savings to pay this silly tip out, yeah, that's where I want to be. Again, I want forward momentum movement, not pulling from the back end. All right, 65, 320s, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 5. So let's add everything up. So I need 5 1s, 2 5s, 1 10, 7 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 20s, 4 5 6. Is that right? Let's pull out my calculator and see. I'm like, did I do the math right? All right, so $600. No, that cannot be right. Let's see. 20, 40, 60, 80, 91, 20, 40, 60, 80, 4, 20. Well, let's try it this way. So that'd be $5 plus $10 plus $10. That would be 600. 625. What is 20 times 12? That can't be right. How did I screw this up? Oh my goodness. Plus 91 plus 184 plus 35 plus 65 is 775. Yes. Oh, because that's not there. I see what I did. 35. That's a 10. Not a 100. Okay, 20, 35. Okay, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So this is when I want to do it like this. I want to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say 500. We do 12 times 20, 224. I'm sorry, 240. 10, 10, and 5. So let's add these and see if it works. Oh my goodness. 500 plus 240 plus, nope. 500 plus 240 plus, that can't be right. 10. Okay, well that was fun. All right, so I had found my mistake there, and so that makes it 5, and that's 500. The 20s, 12, that's 240. And now, because I moved that from 100 to the 10 column, that's 2 10s, that's $20. 2 5s is 10, and 5 singles. So then I add everything together, and it should equal this number. So it's $500 in 100s, 240 in 20s, $20 in 10s, $10 in 5s, and 5 singles, $775. So this is what I'm going to grab from the bank to do my cash stuffing. I'm probably going to have more because this is how it works. Oh my God, it is so, it's so frustrating. So I'm going to get paid on Friday, right? I'm going to get paid on Friday at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night. I can't take that into the bank until Saturday morning. So I'll take it to the bank on Saturday morning. Anything over 500, they're not going to actually give me. So I'll pull that cash out and put it into the safe. Then I work all weekend. So I'll work Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday brunch, where some of that supposedly will come in cash. Will that go back into tip out? Will that be extra that I can then put into my cash stuffing? Who knows? So that number is variable. It will be at least that number. So I'll pull at least this amount. And then I'll do my cash stuffing probably on Monday, when I have all the cash from the weekend. So it'll be at least that, but at least I've planned for this amount and everything's taken care of. Yeah, it's made it a little bit frustrating, having things being so variable. I think that's why I really liked the contract job. Not that I thought the job was the greatest job in the world. It was not. But it was a very guaranteed. I got a day rate, and so I worked 4 days a week, and I knew exactly what I was getting. If there was a half day planned because of, school schedule, or if there was, Christmas break, spring break, Thanksgiving, all of these things, like I knew well in advance. I could adjust my budget for exactly how much I was getting. Do I make more as a waiter? Yeah, absolutely. But balancing a sure thing with something that's variable is definitely the key to how I like to operate. It's not like that at the moment, and so I'm working on doing another side hustle. Like I said, looking into that restaurant that could perhaps bring me on the 2 days that I'm off at the other restaurant. Another thing that I found was working retail for a third party. So basically doing different inventory things or working for particular brands, not as an ambassador, but going in and checking inventory levels as a third party, checking to make sure, you know, and taking pictures, making sure the brand is repped well, it's marketed well, that it's in a good place in the store, and you're double checking their inventory counts, you're looking for a loss. And so there is a company here that has some opportunity to do that with a couple of different brands. And so I'm actually going to hit them up too. They like to do surprise inspections sort of like Monday through Friday in the daytime when I'm free. So that's a flexible sort of interesting side hustle I'm looking into. Another thing that I can do, but I don't like to do, but I have done for a long time. Girl, I am a star dasher. I am a star dasher on DoorDash. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I mean, in a pinch, I will do it. And as weird as this sounds, with my contracting job, I would get direct deposit, right? So my job at the restaurant does not do direct deposit. For my bill checking, you're required to have at least one direct deposit a month, or they charge you something stupid like $12. So I will literally do 1 or 2 dashes per month in the summer so that I get that as like a direct deposit just to avoid that fee. So I'm not necessarily doing it to make a lot of money, but I'm like, I am not paying you for giving my money here. It's not happening. So that's sort of like a workaround that I have. I don't particularly like putting wear and tear on my car, especially when you take into gas and time and frustration and left-hand turns and, you know, going through the drive-through or, you know, whatever. Entering sketchy neighborhoods, all kinds of things. So it's not my go-to, but it's something that I've definitely done. Another thing that I have done is Instawork and Upwork. I'm on both of those apps. And yeah, just like pick things up if you're available. And one of them, I can't recall which one, I think it's Upwork, pays you like the Friday following. And Instawork pays you the next day. So it just kind of depends on who has what. But there's another one called Reflex, which is picking up retail positions here and there. And I was approved, and they're like, "Ooh, we're in your area, you're approved." And I've not found one single job. Like, there's nothing. Every time I log in, and it's just like, all the jobs have been picked. I'm like, I've never even seen you list anything. So, I don't know. I'm always trying new side hustles and gigs. Some are winners, some are not. Maybe they're new to the area and they just don't have a lot. I don't know. We shall see. I'll keep you updated on that. Anyway, thanks for joining me today. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.